I wanted to say in terms of offering opinions, my wife has made it clear to me that I'm allowed to have any opinion I want about the Arab-Israeli conflict, but no opinions at home on any issue whatsoever. So, and that's the way I live, and that's why I've been married a very long time. The Palestinian Arabs, the ill-informed, and the Jew haters have been delegitimizing Israel based on falsehoods and lies. I believe it is high time for the Israeli government, the Jewish people and organizations, and friends of Israel to delegitimize the Palestinian Authority with the truth about the Palestinian Authority, the truth of the Arab war against Israel, and the truth of why there's no real peace process, and the truth of the Jewish religious, historic, legal, and political rights to the land. We must stop talking only about Israel's security needs. Because if security was the only thing that really mattered, we should launch a campaign to have every Israeli move to Minnesota. It's a lot safer there. But until we do this, Palestinians, Arabs, and others will continue to frame the conflict as one between the so-called Israeli oppression of the Palestinians and the Palestinian rights to their land against Israel's security requirements. This is a false construct. If the Arabs are truly oppressed and the land really is Palestinian, then whether or not Palestinians controlling the land threatens Israel is really not that important. Israel and the Jewish community must go on the offensive, no longer simply denying lies that are promoted. It must go on the offensive. It must be led by the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. It cannot be led by ministers or individual Knesset members. I believe Prime Minister Netanyahu and Jewish organizations should hold major press conferences with posters showing the horrific anti-Israel statements made by Palestinian Authority leaders in public or to the Arab media, pictures of Palestinian posters that showing that they glorify terrorists, showing the Fatah emblem, their own emblem, showing all of Israel with an Arab keffiyeh draped over it, and a Kalashnikov rifle next to it, with Yasser Arafat in the center, because by taking this course of action, Israel would reduce the support and sympathy for and the credibility of the Palestinian Authority. Moreover, once people better understand the actual nature of the Palestinian Authority and its goals, the PA's negative campaigns of Israel will be reduced in effectiveness. I believe, first of all, we should actually talk about the Bible, because there's over 1 billion people in the world who believe in the Bible. And make it clear that in Genesis and Exodus, there are statements from God saying this land was given to the Jews. Even Prime Minister Ben-Gurion stated that the Bible is our property deed to this land. And we should talk about some of the history of the Palestinian of the land of Israel. We should talk about the fact that scholar after scholar has talked about how there was virtually no people living there. Mark Twain in Innocents Abroad in 1881 said this was a desolate country, that we never saw a human being on the whole route, said Mark Twain, as we went through it all. And the British Royal Commission reported in 1913 the area was underpopulated and remained economically stagnant until the Jews arrived in the 1880s. We should make this clear publicly and repeatedly in our arguments as to why the world should be supporting Israel. Now, I'm not saying this means, by the way, that Israel should keep every inch of Jewish land, but I'm saying that the world should understand we have better rights to this land than the Palestinian Authority does, to reduce the pressure on Israel to give everything away as if this is not our land. We should make it clear that Jordan received 78% of original Palestine. Almost no one knows this. The Arabs are repeatedly saying that they're only getting 22% of Palestine. They've already gotten 78% in the form of Jordan. The Balfour Declaration included all of what is now Jordan and Judea and Samaria and Israel proper and Gaza, was all part of the Balfour Declaration of 1917. We should talk about that. We should talk about the League of Nations in 1922, giving all of this land to the Jews. Resolution 181, we should make this clear, where the land was actually divided into two states, and the Palestinian Arabs and the Arab world rejected it and went to war against Israel. We should make it clear that in 1937, the Arabs rejected a two-state solution. 1948, they rejected it. From 48 to 67, when they had all of the West Bank, all of Judea, all of Gaza, half of Jerusalem, they could have set up a Palestinian state any time during 48 and 67. They didn't do it because that was not their interest. It's always been one thing. Their interest has been to destroy Israel as a Jewish state. There's never been a state of Palestine. We should make that clear. There's no Palestinian kings or Palestinian queens. We should also make it clear that Israel's given away all of Gaza, 42% of Judea and Samaria, where 99% of the Palestinian Arabs live. There is no longer an occupation. The 58% left of the land, the Jews live on 4% of it, the rest is uninhabited. Yes, there are Israeli soldiers in the Palestinian areas, only because there continues to be attempts at terrorism. No terrorism, no Israeli soldiers would be in those areas. We should have these press conferences showing monuments, it's hard for you to see, showing all of Israel as Palestine. The Palestinians have built this big stone structure in Bethlehem, devoted to the suicide bombers, the martyrs. We should be showing posters that are all over the Palestinian territories of suicide bombers being lauded as heroes and as martyrs. It's all over, glorifying these killers. We should make it clear what a vicious, terrorist-prone regime this is. We should show pictures of Mahmoud Abbas getting an award showing all of Israel as Palestine on a map that he was giving us as an award. Their stationery, you can't see this, their stationery shows all of Israel as Palestine on their official stationery. Israel is not on any of the maps, including their atlases, and I will now show you the commissioned Fatah poster. Every Jewish organization should have made a big issue out of this. Israel should have, but it didn't happen. This is the poster commissioned by Abbas only a year and a half ago, showing all of Israel with a keffiyeh, a Kalashnikov rifle, and Arafat. This is what they commissioned only a year and a half ago. Can anyone who commissions such a poster be serious about peace, be serious about a solution that includes Israel as a state? Certainly not. We should make that clear. We should also demonize the demon Mahmoud Abbas, who wrote a book called The Other Side, the secret relationship between Nazism and the leadership, where he essentially denies the Holocaust and said a few 100,000 Jews were killed. These were Jews in conjunction with the Nazis that together went out to kill Jews to gain sympathy. That's what Mahmoud Abbas has written. We should really demonize this terrible man who has said these things. At a minimum, make him publicly apologize for all this. I see my time is running out already. We should be talking about all these things, making it clear who Israel's dealing with. Israel should make it publicly clear that only in May, Mahmoud Abbas said, if we get a state, that won't end the war. In the New York Times on May 17th, he wrote, this will internationalize the conflict, and we will start to fight Israel in the UN, the human rights arenas, and elsewhere. The war against Israel will not end. He said it himself openly in a New York Times op-ed. And we should make it clear that under these circumstances, this will be a terrorist state. We don't make that clear. We say we want to negotiate, we supported the two-state solution, but when Mahmoud Abbas doesn't change his own Fatah charter, not the PLO charter, calling for Israel's destruction, won't change it, publicly says it's not required of Hamas or Fatah to recognize Israel, has allied himself with Hamas, openly and unequivocally, this will be a terrorist state. We should make that clear and stop talking about negotiating while he's promoting this type of vicious agenda. Will statehood make things better? A state will only increase the strength of the Palestinian Authority to promote their underlying terrible culture they promote. Syria's a state, Iran's a state, North Korea are states. Are they lovely? Of course not. They only have more strength to promote their terrible agenda. And we should say the same things about Jerusalem, making it clear it has never been the capital of any Arab country, any Arab state, any Arab entity. That we should make it clear that this is a propaganda myth, that it's holy to them. It's never mentioned in the Quran. It is mentioned 700 times in the Jewish holy books. And I will end. I had so much more to say, which would have been so fascinating. But I will end by simply saying, Kofi Annan said to the Israeli leadership. The whole world's demanding Israel withdraw. I don't think the whole world, including the friends of Israeli people and government, can be wrong, said Kofi Annan. Israel destroyed the Iraqi nuclear reactor. The whole world said this was a mistake. They were wrong, we were right. The whole world was polytheistic. We alone preached to one God. They were wrong, we were right. The whole world said we crucified and murdered Jesus. They were wrong, we were right. Of course, we had nothing to do with it. The whole world said that we murder Arab children and other children to get blood to make matzah. A complete nonsense. They were wrong, we were right. The Crusades, the blood libels, the Spanish and Portuguese Inquisitions, the Holocaust, on and on. The world either stood by silently or condemned Israel and Jews for these issues. On all of these issues, the whole world was wrong, we were right, and today again, the entire world is wrong about the Israeli situation, and we Jews are right. Thank you very, very much.